メジャー翻訳速報。メジャーリーグでは大谷翔平選手がドジャースの先発ローテーションに加わり、山本由伸選手やグラスノー選手といった実力者との競争が注目を集めています。ドジャースの投手陣は全員がエースクラスと言われる中、今シーズンも二刀流での活躍が期待される大谷選手の動向を現地解説者たちはどのように見ているのでしょうか。今回はメジャーリーグの解説者たちによる分析と評価を翻訳してお届けいたします。この動画が面白いと思っていただけましたらチャンネル登録と高評価よろしくお願いいたします。
And that's right, it's spring training eve, special time here at MLB Network. And for all you baseball fans out there, need a little Technicolor here, got the music going. It's funny, Cliffy, talking to players, so many guys will go, yeah, spring training is too long, too laborious. But they'll talk to other guys, they go, no, I need to be there 6 weeks early. I get my work in, get prepared. Were you a creature of habitat? Did you really have a program when it came to spring training?
I really did. I tried to get there a little early, settle in, and then go in and have a conversation with the manager, right, whoever it was, just to get on the same page. How you want me to play? How you want me to get ready? Am I going to play the road games? Do you want me on the bus? Like, where in Florida, typically you have to take the bus because, trip's a little longer. AZ, they let guys drive, because everything is a little shorter as far as distance. But I just need to leave camp, and not just me, everybody. Leave camp healthy. Yeah. You try your best, right? Guys come in a little banged up. From surgery or whatever case they have in the off season, but for the most part, just get through camp. Yeah. Don't get through camp and feel like it's August. You can't, right? And that's all you're trying to do. That's it, right? Feel good. Like when you watch the game in spring training, you see like guys like Francisco Lindor. He likes to play. Yeah. Some guys are like, hey, give me a couple games in, and I want to get my work in the cage. Yes. And so on and so forth. So whatever floats the boat for your players to get the max out, I'm on board with that.
So much of that is about timing, getting that rhythm down. Speaking of rhythm, we will be seeing Shohei Ohtani again as a two-way player, hitting and pitching. Yeah. It's amazing. We didn't have to pitch, always focus on hitting. Right. He puts up this historic 50-50 season. So part of me says, Cliffy, all right, offensively, those numbers are going to dip a little bit. He's not going to steal 50 bags. But having said that, you could also argue he's never done it in L.A. with the Dodgers before. Maybe he still can be an elite hitter, an elite pitcher. Will he focus more on trying to win a Cy Young for the first time? I mean, there's a lot to it, but all I can tell you is this. His averages, when he's doing both, he's hitting almost 300, 44 bombs, 173 OPS plus, and his ERA is sub-3. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's really, that hurts my feelings as an ex-player that just did one thing consistently and tried really hard to do it at the best of my ability because he has to be different as far as mindset and work. So it should tell you as a hitter, you don't need that workload to be that dramatic. Right. You need to work smart and understand because he's working smart. Yeah. The only way to get through a season and be that productive as we just saw is to work smart and understand that your body needs rest at times. So while we're in the cage, banging away, trying to get that swing right, sometimes less is more. Yeah. And I think you have to think that way because that's the only way you can get that max out of his body.
To your point, the numbers I looked at, I just saw 143 innings is issuing to me. I'm like, he could throw 120. Like, they have 9 starting pitchers. It's okay. He doesn't need to go every 5th day.
When he was as good as he was, as we saw offensively, I'm on board with that. Yeah. Right? I just think that makes the most sense for that team where they are as far as what he did offensively in the leadoff spot, by the way.
Of all the guys I cannot wait to watch, Roki Sasaki is at the head of the class. He's 23 years of age. He hits 100 in the gun, and like so many great Japanese pitchers, throws an unbelievable split. I can't wait to watch it.
I can't either, but I want to see him against the best of the best in spring training. I want to see him facing Betts. I want to see him facing Freeman and Ohtani. Right? I don't want to see him on the backfield facing number 87 and number 92 because I get it. He's faced that and he's been dominant. I want to see this going against the best in spring training, which is going to get him better one and two ready for the season against these monsters out there.
You're right, because once he actually gets that taste of live hitters, and you can see what you want in spring training, but there's something to it. The first time a real live Major League Baseball player is facing him, he's going to have to adjust and try to learn things as he goes.
Yeah, and then for us, we get to camp. And the first thing you see is Pedro Martinez. I was like, no, I'm good. Yeah. I don't want to face that, right? And I'm looking for the expressions that come off these guys' faces that are serious. Like, no, he's nasty, and I look forward to him being on my team as opposed to facing him from somewhere else.
That's a good point. Rather than almost giving a scouting report to the opposition, he's helping the confidence of his own teammates.
I want that, right? So I know it's early. I know my swing is not on point. I get that, but I want to see what these other guys are going to see from the opposing team. Because when I know it's nasty, but I just can't see it because I'm playing the field or whatever the case may be, I don't get the feel in the box of what it looks like. I want to feel that.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Meantime, as far as the team that the Dodgers beat in the World Series, New York Yankees, earlier on Tuesday, Aaron Boone was asked if the Dodgers' comments on the Yankees' sloppiness in the World Series bothered him.
Probably a little bit. I mean, don't like hearing that. You hope. But the reality is, we didn't play our best in the series, and they won. So, they have that right to say whatever. Hopefully we're in that position next year and handle things with a little more class. But, that the reality is it's a great team. It's a great organization with a lot of great people that, I happen to know and respect too. So, a few people, sounding off, isn't necessarily how I would want to draw it up. But they're the champs. They have that right.
Honest answer there by Aaron Boone, because he is right. The Yankees did not play their best, Cliffy, in terms of defensive. Of course, everyone focuses on that one inning. The one error, by the way, Aaron Judge made all season long, and what happened with Anthony Volpe. But, again, fundamentals are always a key to any team. It has to be critical for the Yankees.
Yeah, it really does. And I think the biggest thing is understanding what guys, you have on your roster is going to do and how you're going to put them in a really good position to be successful. I know we hear that, it's kind of a cliche, but it's real with this team, because when you think about the pressure is what busts pipes, right? The pressure that, understanding that we can't make mistakes or we can't do this or can't do that, it's going to make you do it, right? When you watch these guys and the mistakes they made, you're in the big leagues. Those plays need to be made, and they know that. You make those plays in your sleep. Yeah. So I think they, on paper right now, they look really good defensively as far as how they're going to go about the season. I would love to see Jazz Chisholm still stay at third base.
He was great at third.
He was great at third, and I want to see him play more, one, as far as games, and then be that guy in the box without thinking about going over to second and trying to be the guy, that we've seen him play there before. Yeah. I think he's better infielder than outfielder, but I would like to see him at third because I think he sort of figured that out.
Yeah, certainly made an impact there at third base, and outs above average were really well received for a guy playing the hot corner for the first time. All right, that's a story involving the New York Yankees. In the meantime, you look at a first base, new place. There's lots of guys now in different spots. Paul Goldschmidt, among those who will help improve the New York Yankees defense, now at first base. You've also got Josh Naylor, now a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Nathaniel Lowe, Santana, Christian Walker will now be a member of the Houston Astros. So there's been a lot of movement here when it comes to first base. And in terms of the stats of some of these guys, Goldie's numbers certainly were down last year, the 90 OPS plus. He's looking for a bounce back. Lowe's a guy with some power, 120 OPS plus. Josh Naylor certainly's got the power, 31 home runs, 108 RBI. Santana's still a 20-plus home run potential. And Christian Walker, always steady, and a Gold Glover there at first base for the Astros. Who's a guy, Cliffy, of those five you're looking at, curious to see what he could lay ahead?
Well, I think Christian Walker is going to be MVP caliber type player in Houston.
Wow.
When you get to a ballpark and now you can just flip a ball at the park, you start to feel good in your head. I can miss a ball and get it out, right? So, but I'm going to flip it to Josh Naylor. I think him going to, replace Christian in Arizona is where he is now. They're getting the best of Josh Naylor. Now, I hope he comes in the camp in the best shape possible. When you think about a guy that put up those numbers, he's finally figured out who he is. So last year, even 2 years ago in 23, he still was that guy. He drove in 97 runs, right? And he only hit 17 homers. When I think about last year, and I say to myself, he played 152 games, and then that's where he kind of felt the luxury of I'm gonna go down a little bit, but I can come back up. So I'm playing every single day. He had the feel, and he believes now. So I think they're getting the best of Josh Naylor where he's at. He's not gonna do anything defensively that's gonna hurt you. So I think he's in a good position where Torey Lovullo is gonna reap the benefits of where he's at in his career right now.
It's interesting. You mentioned for Walker, he's now helped by the fact he's in that park in Houston. Yeah. For Naylor, he's going from a park in Cleveland, which can certainly be tough in April and May. Those months, the weather's not great. Now going to Arizona, plus he's going into his walk year.
I love that. Walk year always helps you mentally get there and know that you want to secure that bag at some point, right? And the only way to do it is go out there and be a better version of yourself, which was last year for him. I think he now realizes that, this is the player I can be in this league. I can do this. He doesn't strike out much. You look at these numbers and go, how does he get better? One is not striking out and putting the ball in play. That helps you so much. And even if you're a big bopper in the middle, you still want to be a guy that puts the ball in play and drives that guy in from third base. That's how he got 97 RBIs 2 years ago, right? Not a lot of homers, but I'm still be a run producer.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting a Josh Naylor that's at the best of where he can be right now.
It's amazing. Like you said, the power really came through last year. If that continues to ascend, great news potentially for Arizona there in the desert. Ready for Cliff's Corner here. And the first question becomes, should Mike Trout be moving to the corner from center field to an outfield spot? What's it going to look like, Cliffy, for Mike Trout to have a successful season?
Well, I just said he has to be on the field. So I know when you're playing, you feel so good about what you're going to do, especially when you have this guy's talent, right? So if you say, even last year, those 10 homers, that was leading the league, right? That was leading the league as far, before he got hurt. I just think, okay, I said play maybe a corner, left field, right? You say left field.
Yeah.
I say maybe DH till like June. So there is, when you think about, progressing, it's a slow process.
Yes.
Right? It's a slow process to get into where you're feeling comfortable about being in the field. He's probably not going to touch the field in spring training. Probably not going to touch the field. So how do you expect him to play opening day in the field? Maybe he does touch the field. I'm just saying, as far as playing, you have to figure out, how do I get him through spring training unscathed? Like, just, I want this. I want to see this. I want him in the cage, because if he's in the box, there's going to be some damage done because he's just that good.
Yeah.
He can be elite hitter if he's healthy. The one thing you can't leave spring training with doubt of if my knee is good, if my wrist is good, if anything is not feeling up to par. So I don't want him in the field. Yeah. If you give him
DH till June is interesting.
Well, 150 games, how do you get him there?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you definitely got to take him out of center field. And so if it's left field, I'm cool. It's just understanding, and that's a big conversation. Like, there's almost a daily conversation with him and Wash. Like, I need you to be 100% honest with me. Like, where are we?
Yeah.
And he has to tell the truth. Right? It's that point in his career. We know the player, but it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've been around superstar players. You still have to have an honest conversation with the manager and with the training staff that, hey, this is how I feel. So whatever's going to get the max, I'm with that.
Maybe he'll be inspired by his Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, he's definitely inspired by that. Boy, that's some goosebumps for him. He probably still ain't come down from that one.
Trouty fired up there for Jalen Hurts. In terms of the outfielders who moved on new teams now, so Bellinger goes from the Cubs to the Yankees again. Defensively versatile. You got to feel like that short porch, that swing's going to play. Santander, I love this signing for the Jays. 44 home runs, 102 RBI. He's stepped up big time. Soto, obviously, we've all talked what an impact he can make in the New York Mets. And then Tucker goes from the Astros to the Cubs. 181 OPS plus, higher than Juan Soto a season ago. Which of these guys do you think is the most intriguing for you?
That guy right there.
Nice.
Santander. And I think when you think about staying in the same division, right, come AL East, he just goes up to Toronto.
Yeah.
He's familiar with the league. He understands, what's expected of him. A switch hitter, hitting in the middle of that order. Those are all the things that you look for. You got a nice, secure, big money bag, and it just looks good on him. He looks happy. Yeah. When you get the red carpet rolled out for you, you want to end up like that.
Yeah.
Right? Nice haircut. You rich. Uniform fitting good. They got the size right. You know what I'm saying? All those little things you want. And I think that's the big thing about free agency. It's like, you know what? It looks a little scarce early. Yeah. And for whatever reason, because I was all on there. Like, what? No lineup can use this, right? And I think the Blue Jays hit it on the head by saying, if we want to keep our big boys, he's a big part of keeping these guys.
Yeah, $92.5 million over 5 years. And if you look at how much the money is deferred, it actually ends up being like $14 million a year. For a Toronto team that clearly needed power, this was their biggest need.
They got it. And you know what? I always talk about playing because obviously it's stuck in my head when I didn't play. But when you look at the left fielders and what they've done from a stat perspective, this is why you go out and get him and move him over to left field. You make it easier on him to throw the baseball to second base to home. You make it easier on him as far as playing left field and not worrying about, all the defensive metrics. I get it. I want to get the best out of what Anthony Santander is going to bring to my team, and he is a pretty decent outfielder. So I don't know what the analytics shows, but because these catches right here look the part. I haven't shown one thing about the 40-plus homers. These are all good jumps on balls that he caught. So let's make sense of what he's going to bring to this Toronto Blue Jays team, because we talked about windows closing.
Yes.
You don't want that window closed with the boys you had.
Final year of Bowen Vlad under a contract.
Come on.
It's time to make hay, and maybe Santander can be that guy. We shall see. Should be fun to watch him there. The Blue Jays had the third most home runs in the regular season a season ago with 44. In the meantime, one guy we know where he's going, Clayton Kershaw. No surprise here. Back with the Dodgers. Alden Gonzalez tweeting, Kershaw is at the Dodgers facility playing catch. He and the Dodgers have agreed to terms on a new contract, according to the source, but he still has to finish going through his physical. So it makes sense. Where else could you imagine him going? Meantime, Kenley Jansen agreeing to a one-year, $10 million deal with Los Angeles. This time, though, it's the Angels. Joel Sherman tweeting that, and John Heyman, his colleague and friend here at MLB Network and New York Post, was the first one on it. So both these guys right now are chasing historic milestones. You know, for Kershaw, you're trying to get to a barometer of 3,000 strikeouts, and Kenley Jansen trying to move up the all-time saves leaderboard. Kershaw first. No surprise he's back.
Nope.
And I swear, I'm not being facetious. May not be their top 5 starter.
No, he might not be, but you know what? When he gets healthy, they have 12 of them. So at some point, he might get in there. You know, we always have injuries that derail guys, right? So, you know, you can have enough pitchers. I always say that, you know, and you ask every general manager when we go down and do our camps, you know, what can you not have enough of? And it's always pitching. Look at this. And I mean,
Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, Sasaki.
Yeah.
Kershaw's like by 5.
And these are all studs. It's not like you just have some throw-ins in there. These are all good,
Ohtani
solid.
to join the rotation by May.
There you go. So by the time Ohtani gets there, Kershaw's pitching in like September. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
give me 60 good innings, and then we'll get you in the playoffs.
So if some guys get hurt, I think the one thing seriously you look at is you know you got a serviceable future Hall of Famer that will take the baseball and go out there and give you everything he has.
Yeah.
And that's why he's in camp. You know, they know exactly what he's dealing with. They know exactly who he is and what he's about, obviously. And it just makes the most sense for the Dodgers.
Low risk, high reward, right? I know we're giving Kershaw. I'm not giving him a ton. We don't know the exact terms. It's a one-year deal, probably straightforward. Kenley Jansen's a guy, man, racking up saves all these seasons. Angels were obviously not a good team a season ago. But again, Kenley's trying to rise up the all-time saves leaderboard and try to pat his case potentially for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, this is like that diamond in the rough. It's like, you know what, for Ron Washington, it's more of one of those things like, hey, we can ill afford to lose any games that we're ahead of, right? We have to win these games. You got a guy, and Kenley Jansen is going to give you that chance to close out those precious 3 outs at the back end of the bullpen. And so I like this move. I really do. I like where it's at. Look at this.
I can't believe he could catch Lee Smith.
I mean, Lee Arthur is sitting at 4.78. He might be sweating a little bit, you know, because Kenley is coming. And he's done a terrific job of being able to be out there consistently to get those numbers where they are.
And when you compare him to other Hall of Famers, okay, the innings are much higher for Mo, Hoffman, and Smith. But look at Billy Wagner. I mean, Wagner's in the Hall of Fame, and Jansen should match that 900 innings. The strikeout per 9 is higher than all those dudes.
He's on the highway. I mean, he's pulling off, getting a little gas. He's gonna pull in there in a minute, and you know what? That's a credit to him. You know, understanding. I mean, pitching some tough environments, and then you know, taking the baseball and going out there and actually tweaking some things at times, right? Because he had the cutter, and then he had to figure out, you know, when the cutter wasn't working, little things like that, and get back on track. And look where he's at.
メジャー翻訳速報。大谷翔平選手の驚異的な成績について改めて凄さに驚かされます。二刀流時の打者としては打率2割9分6厘、44本塁打、30盗塁という素晴らしい成績で OPS は173と群を抜く数字を残しました。投手としても防御率 2.84、143イニングを投げ181奪三振、2021年と2023年にはリーグ MVP に輝き、2022年にはアーロン・ジャッジ選手に次ぐ2位という成績を残しています。今シーズンはドジャースでどのような活躍を見せてくれるのか本当に楽しみです。皆様のご意見やご感想をコメント欄にお寄せください。では次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ご視聴ありがとうございました。